Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Jerry Yasser and I'm a Microsoft MVP for Office Apps and Services. I work at DXC Technology as an Office 365 architect. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can configure the Office 365 role assignments using cloud security groups, but this time I will use PowerShell. So the first thing you need to know is that this command, as this functionality is in preview, is currently only available in the Azure AD preview module. So the first thing I need to do is open the PowerShell window. So I'll open Windows PowerShell first, and I will run it as administrator. And the first thing I need to do is I need to remove the my current module. So if I say get dash module. Right now, this command doesn't have any, but I know that I have on module the Azure AD module installed, so I will uninstall it. So I'll say uninstall dash module and say Azure AD, and I'll say force. Sorry. So the reason I'm using Windows PowerShell screen is to make sure that I'm not loading the modules because sometimes if the module is loaded, it will not allow you to be uninstalled. So if I say clear screen and this time I will install the module that I need. So I'll say install dash module and I'll say Azure AD preview. Now this time it will go and install the module. I'll click yes. And now the module has been installed. I will, rather than using the PowerShell window, I will actually be using my, that I'm waiting for it to complete. I'll use Visual Studio Code. Let me see if I, all right, it's done. So let's open Visual Studio Code. All right. So let me make it a little bit fit in the window. And I'll move it down a little bit and I'll say new file. I'll save it. I'll call it group membership and I'll change it to PowerShell. All right. As anything, the first thing you need to do is do the connect dash um, Azure AD. All right. So I'm being asked to provide the credentials. So I will copy paste my credentials. So if you're trying this feature for the first time, I suggest you to try it um, on a trial tenant. Now, the first thing you need to do is to create a new group. So we'll go and create a new group. I'll call it the new group. So I'll say Global Security Admin 2, and I'll name it new dash Azure AD MS group, and then the display name, and I'll call it Global Security Admin PS, and then I'll call it the description if I have any, but I don't, and then it will not be mail enabled, and then mail nickname, it's still provided, so I'll say global security admin PS, and it should be security enabled, true, and then is assignable to role means that I will be assigning this to a security role, so I'll say true. Now that's the only difference. Again, other than the command name, that's the only difference between adding a new group than the standard version. Sorry, I think I have to provide the description. At this moment, it doesn't like the empty description. So I'll say global security group. All right. So the description must be there. There, it should not be empty. Now our group has been created. You can see that. The next thing I need to do is to assign the group some users. So I can do the same thing. I can say add dash Azure. I can use the same function that I had used before. I have my some users. I'll say import dash Excel, and I'll say minus path. Oops, C colon temp, and I'll call it global admins, and I'll load them into the object. I think I have three users, so I'll say for each dollar user in dollar sum users, and I'll say add dash Azure AD group member. Is much easier. I'll say object ID. I'll say global security admin 2 dot object ID, and you can see the switch between object ID and ID. So, and then I'll say minus role object reference object ID, and that will be dollar user dot user ID. So I have these values here, and if I say dollar verbose, just to see how it goes, if I run it, you can see now the groups have been added. Let's see if those users exist. So I'll say get dash Azure AD group member, and then dash object ID. I'll say dollar admin2 dot ID, and this will show me that I have three members added into the new Azure AD group. So now the group has been added. All right, so our group is created, but you notice that we haven't added any role to that group. So to do that, we will have to use a different set of commands. This is a little bit different than what we have with the Azure AD PowerShell. So you have to be a little patient here. The first thing I need in the Azure AD PowerShell, we had to go and get the template ID of the role and then enable it first and then assign it. In the Azure AD preview module will actually do have to get the role definition first and then create a role assignment. So it's kind of a little bit different concept there. The first thing I'll say, I'll call it role RA or or RD role definition. I'll say get dash Azure AD role. Sorry, I always forget Azure AD MS role definition, and then I'll say minus filter, and I'll call it security administrators. Let's see if that value exists. If I run it, it's not. So let's see if we can get the name. So to get the name, it's easy to do it like this. I'll run all of them, but you can see that the name is a little bit tricky to find the name. Let's do some scripting magic. So we'll basically do it like this. I'll say definition, select display name, and then ID maybe, if you want to do that. And then you say out dash grid view and then pass through. And in the end, I'll say selected role DA or DF, and I'll run it. And again, it will go out of my screen a little bit, but it's still there. If you are seeing it, I'll find the security administrator right here, security administrator. I think it's administrator, and I type now if I run it here and I have the ID, I can go and say dash ID. It's a lot easy than with ID than the search. So I'll say dollar selected role definition dot ID. And if I run it now, you can see that the template is right here. So I have the role definition here. And now just to verify, we have the RD value loaded. The next thing I need to do is need to create a new role assignment. So this is where the group will be added into the role. Is that I'll say dollar RA or role assignment, the new dash Azure AD MS role assignment. And I'll say dollar resource scope. It will be slash, and then we'll have to pass the role definition ID, which is rd dot id, and then we have to pass the principal, which is our group. So I'll say principal ID dollar, and say global admin security v2 dot id. So a little bit deeper, but it's just like you do it in Azure AD scripting or Azure scripting. You have to pass it in a certain way. So I'll run RA, and now that our group is ready, so I'll say get dash. If I run that command again, and our group has been added into the role. So just to verify, I'll go back to my Azure Active Directory. Let me minimize it to find the windows. I think I mistakenly closed the window. All right, so I'll have to open it again. All right, so after I was able to find the window, I just came here. I went to the Azure AD, clicked on my group, and you can see that the security administration group has been added into my Azure 8, the new group that I created using PowerShell directly on my tenant. So again, we in this 4 videos we have looked at uh, how we are configuring the role membership in Azure AD or Office 365 currently or traditionally, and then we switch from how you can set it up if you still want to use PowerShell script with security groups, and then eventually we looked at the how you will be able to configure the membership using security groups in Azure AD. And eventually, the feature will be available in Office 365. So I hope you enjoyed the videos. Please leave a comment if you do. I'm not into too much of editing, so everything is coming as is. I hope you enjoyed. I'll continue to add more in future. Thank you.